for hanging with me and stuff. Because I'm not gonna whine myself, but I am going a little bit. Yeah, I'm having a great time learning all this stuff, but I'm having, like I said, a real hard time trying to bring as much out to people's, maybe they can benefit from some of the stuff that I'm saying. All right, now we're going to move on to failure happens, and these are what you call near misses, right? And this is just what we've been seeing in this country all the time. We see near misses, and those are actually failures. Yeah, and let me talk about it a little bit. Yeah, and if you pay attention to near misses, you can predict and prevent crises. Remember, this is more on a business aspect and on a social aspect and everything. But in today's world, some of the near misses that we've seen that weren't a miss, but they actually got hit. They got slammed with the hurricane. They got. It wasn't a miss with the guy in Las Vegas. You know, they could have been near misses before. They probably were events that happened prior to these and several other times. You know, to where they got caught or the hurricane took a turn and like, whoo, missed that one. But you don't miss them all, folks. Time is not on your side. So let's look at near misses. We think of near misses as close calls. That's what we think of. That could have been a lot worse. That's how we approach near misses. And that's not a right-minded way to think of near misses. You know, that's an actual way of thinking of near misses. That's exactly what it is. Woo, that was close. Just like your box. Woo, just missed me, that one. Oh, bang. You got hit with the next one. Yeah, so we think about those near misses as close calls that could have been a lot worse. And we should be more thinking about near misses as something that we can learn from, and we can benefit from the learning from these near misses. You see the near misses. Whoo, if that had happened, that's all we got to say. If that had happened, what would have happened to me? What would this effect have been on the society? What would this effect have been on whatever it's going to be, you know, if that had happened? But we like to look at it, like I say, as, oh, that was a close call. Ooh, just missed that. And another way we look at near misses is unremarkable. Small failures that occur on a day-to-day business but cause no immediate harm. We look at near misses like that, you know. It's like you went. I'll just say you went to the grocery store, right? You went in there and you bought your milk and everything, and you came home and you're tired. So rather than pick up one bundle and carry it into the house, you're gonna grab all three at the same time, and you're coming in there and you trip and the apples fall out, but they're in the bag. But the milk fell out and it bust open and half of it was spilled. That's a near miss. You could have lost everything and hurt yourself. But you look at it as a small failure. Oh, I only lost half a gallon of milk, so I'm okay, you know. But I could have lost everything because that could have been a lot worse because one and two are starting to go together. Yeah. So there's no real harm in it and everything. You'll be all right. You'll probably have a little dry Cheerios or something in the morning, but you'll still weather the storm. So this is another unremarkable small failure. The failure was you being tired. You didn't pay attention to detail and you overdid yourself, and the cause was, you lost half a gallon of milk. So let's see what. People are hardwired to misinterpret or ignore the warnings embedded in these failures, and so they often go unexamined. Yeah? We examined what happened here with the groceries, right? We did it. We looked at it a little bit deeper than the actuality. I'm tired. And I gotta go in the house, so I'm just grab all three of these big bundles because I can handle it and stuff like that. And here's what you missed. You told yourself in the beginning you were tired. so so rather than paying attention to yourself being tired, no, what did you do? You piled on. Instead of taking one or two bags, you took all three bags at the same time, and then you tripped because you were tired and it overloaded yourself. So these are things that we do. You know? We misinterpret or ignore the warning. The warning was, I'm tired. And we didn't pay any attention to it, and because not paying attention to it, you know, your Cheerios are just going to be a little dry. But you can handle it, so don't worry about it. Now this here, and you know how this relates to stuff right now in the news and everything like that. We had two hurricanes. What, Harvey and Juan?
Maria?
Yeah, Maria's the third one. Juan, I think it was, I forget. We had just had two hurricanes within 2 weeks, and then another hurricane was coming. All huge and big. But we missed the warning signs. We saw the hurricane coming, Maria. We seen where it was going. But what do? We put all the lines on the TV so we can go this way and that way and flip around in circles and come back and go up near Alaska and then shoot down or do all these things. And you could see that this big giant hurricane's going right over Puerto Rico. You know? Rather than just saying right at the time, Puerto Rico, there's a big giant hurricane, how can I help before it gets there? We didn't do that. We missed that interpretation. We missed it or ignored the fact that that was going to happen. We know what happens when a hurricane knocks on your door. You know, if he gets in, he's tearing it up. We know that. So rather than doing what we knew we should have done, we went and played with the lines on the hurricane will do this and then miss this, and it's, well, we get them all the time, and we misinterpreted all those things like that, where we should have just said, you know, the government of the United States should have said, Puerto Rico, what can I do to make you ready for the hurricane that's going to beat on your door? Yeah, these are missed. This is a missed thing. This is a near miss that didn't miss. Other times it had missed. This is the biggest one that hit it in, what, 50 years or something like that. So many times they were near misses. And then they were just close. And whoo, that was close. Could have been a lot worse. And it was. And then the next thing is complacency. Complacency. We develop complacency by a number of near misses that still result in a positive outcome. We call it luck. You know? And the near misses for that there, I'm staying right with the news. That was the Vegas thing like that. That wasn't a near miss. But we've had near misses in the immediate future where people would stop somebody from blowing up a car full of whatever the ammonia type of stuff that they had in New York. That could have devastated the New York Times Square. We've interrupted several different terrorist attacks and all those things all across the world. You know? So we become complacent. Oh, this really can't happen to us. Well, why not? See, our complacency got in the way. You know? Sometimes we just say, oh, we're lucky that we live here, that this really doesn't go on here. Well, of course it goes on here. We just were lucky that we intercepted many of those attacks and stuff. Because there's always signs out there. Somebody's always leaving the trail that they're going off the deep end. And our complacency said, well, you know, we're just going to the concert. You know, that concert field. That was devastating. And my man planned that. you could see that he did a lot of homework on that. He picked the floor that overlooked the place so that he had a clean line of shot and everything like that. So there was a lot of things that he left as a marker that there was something going to happen, and everybody missed it because they were complacent. Somebody having 49 guns, it's a little. There's a little bit of something here going on, you know? What's going on? You got all these guns and stuff like this. You're sending money away and doing all these crazy things and stuff. Somebody need to take it back, but you become complacent, so you don't. And then your luck runs out. That's what we say when those things happen. All right, so don't be complacent, folks. All right, again, rather than pay attention to near misses and investigate them, we applaud ourselves for method and safety procedures working. Well, that's what we do with a near miss. We applaud ourselves that, yeah, we were right on top of that, weren't we? You know, that could have been so much worse and stuff. All those ones that we catch. So we applaud ourselves and we applaud ourselves and we applaud ourselves and we pat ourselves on the back. We take ourselves out and reward ourselves with big meals. We even buy presents for ourselves because we're such great people and we're such aware of the situations because we caught that before it happened. But you don't catch them all. You don't catch them all. And if they get through, that they could be devastating, like the Vegas one or the Pulse one in Florida, I think that was, or something. Yeah. So when you're doing your due diligence, do it all the way. Just don't do it a little bit and then applaud yourself because you interrupted something. Do it all the way. It is a shame. And I have to agree, it is a shame that we have to live in a time, right now at this point in time anyway, where you have to be proactive. Not that you objectify people, but you have to be proactive. And the best proactiveness that I can think of is definitely Archangel. Just show a little bit of love to your neighbors and things like that. And that's what it is. And I mean, just a little bit of hello, you know. If you say hello to your neighbor and they smile at you and say hello back to you, and then, after a couple of weeks you say hello and they start flipping you the bird and stuff like that, swearing at you. These are signs, folks. There might be going on something in that boy's life that may need to be addressed. Those are definite signs. All right, let's do the other stuff. These are studies that have taken place. This is what happens with a study. Studies of multiple near misses. I have to go quick too, because I want to get a little bit of the other one. Show that every disaster and business crisis study show that most of misses were ignored or misread. There are two basic biases that happen on these. They're cognitive biases. The first is a normalization of deviance. And what that means that over time you become accustomed to these things. And this has got to do more, I think, more with a social outlook on near misses and stuff. Because near misses and failure just ain't the horrendous type of things that destroy everything. A near miss might even be something that could have been socially beneficial to everybody, but it really wasn't taken care of. You really didn't do enough work on getting the whole thing done because you became complacent and you normalized it. Say for the job thing with the $15 an hour job thing that's coming. So we're going to normalize. Oh, that'd be so great for people. They'll be making $15 an hour. They'll be able to spend more money. They'll be able to do this. Well, they're absolutely correct. They'll be able to spend more money on health care now because they won't have a subsidy. Mm-hmm. They'll be able to spend more money on rent because they won't have a subsidy. They'll be able to spend more money on food because the food prices are going to go up. So But we become normalized to that. We know that's going to happen, and all we see is the picture of the paycheck's going to be bigger, you know. But then the bills over here are going to be bigger too. We don't factor that in. We normalize that. So we think we're doing really good, and in actuality, a lot of people will get hurt by that type of thinking. And here's an example is like, it's an example, it doesn't have to do with the social thing, but the example is climbing a ladder, right? You're climbing a ladder that's broken. It's got broken rungs on it, but the only ladder you have. So you keep climbing the ladder, because you got to climb the ladder and do this, son, come down. Oh, that was good. You climb the ladder, you keep doing it, and nothing happens, right? Eventually, you feel safe climbing that ladder. Is the ladder safe? No. The ladder's broken. The only thing, you've normalized the safety of that ladder. Eventually, it's going to break. It's going to totally fall apart. It's inevitable. It's going to do that. It's a broken ladder. The rungs don't work. But you're able to maneuver it, and eventually the ladder breaks, and you get to pay the consequences for your normalization of that ladder. See, this is what people do, and they do it automatically. It's not even thought about. It's just what they do. Actually, the funniest thing I ever said, I didn't know why this boy was doing that. I was driving up to a place in Maine, and me and the wife would come around the corner, and we see this guy sitting on the limb of a tree with one of them, what do you call them saws, the automatic saws? Chainsaw. Chainsaw, okay. He got a chainsaw. He's sitting on the far end of the limb, cutting the limb. I wanted to stop and watch and see why are you doing that? I guess it was more comfortable for him to sit out on the far end of the limb and cut like this. He probably thought it was a normal thing. He may have gotten away with it several times. I don't know, but that's normalization at the extreme. Mm-hmm. He's crazy. Watch out for that guy. He does things. And the second part is a cognitive error. This is the second thing we do. Cognitive error is the so-called outcome bias. When the people observe successful outcomes, they tend to focus on the results more than on the complex process that led to them. And we do this all the time, folks. We do this. We do this without even thinking. We focus on, like I said, with the $15. We focus on the result. If everybody going to get the pay raise to $15 an hour, we're going to focus on that result. We don't focus on the process of getting there. We don't focus on how much work we had to put in to bring it forward, to change it from, bring it to a bill. We don't even focus on the constitutional type of things that's involved in bringing it there. We focus on the end product, and we applaud that end product, even though that end product would be detrimental to many, many, many people. You know, we still focus on, oh, that was a successful thing we did, aren't we great and wonderful? And it's like, well, how'd you do it? I forgot. You can't duplicate it, but it was so good. All right, people. Now I'm going to go into this last one. I might even go over today. I might, because I only got 8 minutes. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Now, this is, how do you react to failure? That's you. Y'all out there, all my people. Which one, there's 3 types of personality, and which one you have when it comes to accepting blame for failure. You got extra punitive, you got impunitive, and you got infrapunitives. Extra punitive is somebody who blames others. Right? Now, this is their character. This is what they look like. They're excitable. They're what you call a volatile guardian. They overreact to minor mistakes. This is what they do. They determine failure prematurely. Oh, this will never work. They said that before you even said what the project's going to be. I know everybody knows people like that. Oh, that won't work. That won't work. You know? Yeah, and they just, the small mistakes, they overreact to. And then cautious. They're sensitive retainers. They expect failures to occur. They go in looking for failures. Yeah, and if they don't see them, they create them. They put hurdles into them so that they fail. I know a few people like that. They get into politics. They might even been able to win in politics, but they would, as soon as it looks shiny and bright, they put in something so that they fail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just inject it right into their program so that they can't win. And it's too defensive to learn from feedback. They don't learn because they're busily looking for failure. And all the time they'll blame somebody else for their failure, when in actuality it was always them. But they will point the finger at somebody else, just like that, boing. And then they're wary watchers. Believes he will be unfairly blamed. You know? Oh, they'll say it's me just because it's me. You heard it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, folks. They'll say it just like that. They see only criticism in constructive advice. Yeah, I say it. They'll say, no, I won't say it. But you know what I'm talking about. They'll see only criticism in constructive advice. If you tell them, hey, why don't you try looking at it this way? Well, that ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
No, that I can't do it. And you know they ain't gonna let me do that anyway. You know, that ain't for me. That's for somebody else. That ain't gonna work. Now, see, you know them people. Then they're leisurely rationalize blamers. They look for and offer up excuses. They got 100 billion excuses. Mainly the people that I see got one excuse. It's mainly, well, the other guy did it, he would have had it this way, but I did it, so they do that to us. So that's kind of what they do. And they often blame whoever assigned the task. They blame the person who's in charge. They never take it for somebody else. These is your extra punitives. They blame others. Now you got your impunitives. They deny blame. Totally. They're bold. They think they're the big person on the campus. They become angry or hurt when blamed. Oh man, what are you blaming me for? It wasn't me, man. You know it wasn't me. Somebody else. It wasn't me. We know that person. And a guy can have a baby, we name him Nate. We always blaming somebody else, you know? Wasn't me. And he's always knowing all the stuff and stuff like that. They integrate herself with her superiors in hopes of avoiding blame. You know the people like that. We got derogatory words for them. You know, we call them kisses or kiss behinds. Yeah.
Brown noses.
Brown noses. Yeah, we call them brown noses. Yeah. Thank you, Will.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're mischievous, high wire walkers. Denies his role in failure. That's what they do first and foremost. It's never their fault. They may deny that failure has even occurred. Yeah. What failure? There's no failure here. They're totally going to deny any responsibility for failure, even to the point to denying that the failure has occurred. They just continually roll that same ball up the hill and watch it fall back down, and roll that ball up the hill and watch it fall back down. What's his name? Syphilis? and he pushes the rock,
Oh,
and it
yeah,
falls
I know.
down, and he becomes part of the rock himself. That's what these people do. They continually rolling the boulder up the hill until they and the boulder actually become one. You know, their life mission is to roll the boulder up. If it ever goes over the top and makes it, they don't know what they're going to do. they're finished. So, so these people expect forgiveness too. They expect forgiveness for any and all failures because it's never, never, ever their fault. It's never their fault, no matter what. It's not my fault. Somebody else, not mine. And they expect to be forgiven. You know, you gotta forgive me because I would have been better at it except for these people over here didn't help me because it wasn't my fault. And that's a heavy rock that I'm pushing up that hill. You know, I almost made it, not my fault. So you gotta forgive me. And that's what they do. That's what these people do. And they would rather be blamed. They would rather be blamed than ignored. This is the reverse part that's within them. It's like this is the part that really stands out. Rather than ignored, they don't want to be ignored. You can't, you know, if you ignore them, they can't handle that. They would rather be blamed and then be forgiven than be ignored. You know? And this is I don't know if it's a problem, just the way they are. And then there are assertive daydreamers. They often complex explanations for failure. They give you, oh, here's a whole epic book of why I failed. But it wasn't me. It wasn't because I failed. This is why. And you get 3,000 pages of absolute nonsense because there was really nothing there in the first place. And they seem anxious about being blamed in the future, but indifferent in the present. You know, because they need to be seen as something. So in the future, nah, you can't blame me for that. They ain't here yet, you know. They don't want to take on responsibility and be blamed in the future, but they don't want to be ignored in the present. So it's all right to blame them in the present. They're schizo. They have a little bit of problems going on there. So those are your imputative people, and they're denied blamers. And then I'm going to just go over a little bit because this is the last one anyway. These are intro punitives. They blame themselves. That's what they do. They're micromanagers. Just they out there micromanaging all over the place. You know, I know a couple of them, love them dearly, but they're micromanagers. They criticize for every minor error. Yeah, somebody makes a little error. You know, well, you shouldn't have done that. You know, they're always on top of them for that. They're criticizing already. And this is what they do. And is so concerned about failure that they may suffer analysis paralysis. Because they're so busy micromanaging and criticizing about failure, and they're so concerned about failures and stuff like that, that they don't analyze anything. They're only just looking for the failures so that they can do what they like to do because they blame once. They're always blaming themselves for it. Even though they're physically manifesting their blame outward towards everybody else, it's always turned inward on them. Yeah, and they're the ones you see later on, I'm so depressed, and then they on medication, I have so much stress and all this stuff. You ain't got no stress. You just keep putting all this silly stuff on it. What you have is analysis paralysis. You can't analyze anything because you're just too busy micromanaging. Oh, and so you can blame yourself. And then they're dutiful. They're modest. They like to have that blame on themselves. All right, the whole thing failed, cost us $2 billion. I'll take the hit. I'll take the. But If you had done that there, and if you had done this there, and if you had done all this there, and only the way I had told you and all this stuff, it would have been great. But they were so busy doing all that, then take the hit because they became a minor. They didn't do any analysis on the project. They didn't really see where the thing was going to. So they accept more blame than deserved in order to preserve work relationships. Even though they're yelling at the person, they still want the person to stay and do the job, even though they're telling the person, it's all your fault. It's not mine. And then they reverse it. They blame themselves so harshly that others typically refrain from criticizing them. That's why they take on that mantle. All right, it's me. I'll take the hit. Because they can't handle other people really criticizing them. These are your intro-putative blame people, blame selfish, I guess is what you call it. Well, folks, I went a little bit over, but I wanted to get that last part in. I should have started with the last part, actually. I think the rest of it may have made a little bit more sense, because then you could maybe look at it from a different perspective, because you would have had a little bit of a better base on seeing what failures are all about. Well, next week we'll be off of failures. Next week I've been trying to put this one together. I'm gonna try it anyways, because I like a challenge. I'm gonna be talking about words and the uses of words and body language and those type of non-verbal communications, and how we use words and how the generational effect of words come into play. And I'll put a little humor in there too. I'll talk maybe about my friend Tom. He does what do you call that?
Bodybuilding?
No, Tom DeGracio.
Oh, music, Motown.
Yeah, he does Motown. Tom, he does Motown music, but he also is a public speaker. And he was talking to the kids about Motown music and stuff like that. His audience was young kids. This is not a generation thing. And he was talking to the kids about how many 45s he has. And he was talking to millennials. Mm-hmm. Millennials thought 45s are guns. Yeah. He's talking about the little plastic records and stuff like that. So next week I'm going to try to have a nice thing on words. It'll be some comical and some hopefully that could see that the usage of words can really be hurtful and detrimental to not only other people, but really to yourself more than other people. So until then, this is Trooper Joe, and my words for you are, well, go have that fun.